Hello, and welcome to this week's 30-minute masterclass. This is a key topic that we're dealing with today, and so our 30 minutes is going to be really busy. However, I do believe that it's really important that we take a look at this. So here are 5 key steps to managing your online reputation. Hi again, my name is Barbara Gemma. I'm the founder of Your Entrepreneurial Spirit, in which we often turn to the acronym Y.E.S. I'm a business strategist to women entrepreneurs, and I help you connect with your customers and potential customers so that you can grow your bottom line and therefore grow your audience online and offline. As usual, one of the things that we do with our 30-minute masterclass is we always start with a quote, one that hopefully speaks to the topic of the day, and that's something you can relate to. So today's quote is a simple one. A reputation once broken is possibly be repaired, but the world will always keep their eyes on the spot where the crack was. This is from Joseph Hall, and it's just like, yeah, that's pretty much what happens. And that's why we have this topic today. So before we really get into it, I really want you to focus, though, on why it's important to be aware of and control your online reputation. So here are the simple versions of why we need to worry about this. You need to know what's going on out there and what is being said about you and your business. You need to understand the reality of why we need to even worry about this, and we know what's going on in the internet age. We need to consider how this online information can impact either your life or the health of your business, which, again, you're not possibly aware of. And we also need to understand what you can do about these sudden impacts as they appear, and so that you can minimize some of this damage. So let's look at why it's worth the time to protect your online reputation. And it is amazing sometimes when we see what's going on and people don't really recognize or identify with some of their activities. But consider any and all of these reasons that you need to pay attention to your online reputation. It means that if we do an online reputation review, it could reveal some uncomfortable information in the results, and you might be shocked by that. If personal information appears, you don't really want the world to know these things. How are you going to deal with it? We need to actively monitor and control your reputation online. This is essential to the health and success of your business. So these are the basic reasons why we need to take care of this, and this is what we're going to look at next. So what does your online reputation really look like? Before we continue, let me just give you an activity to consider. So hopefully you've got a pen. Here's what we need to do. After this session, I'd like you to go to Google and put your name in the search bar in quotes and search on that and see what comes up. Take a look at the results. Is there anything there that makes you feel a little off? Do you feel okay with what people will see at the top of the list? Scroll down a little bit. Do you like what content shows up further down the page? Now, do the exact same thing for your business, again putting the name of your business in quotes. What do the first results show? Try searching using keywords such as awful, sucks, bad service, or other negative terms. As I mentioned, Google yourself and see if there's anything there that makes you feel uncomfortable. What if you find something negative when you're doing this search? What if there's some personal information in either set of results, that's either business or personal, that you don't want the world to know, how would this affect your life or the health of your business? So again, this is illustrating a reality of living in the internet age, particularly with so much information about us being available online all the time. But there is something you can do. You can actively monitor and control your online reputation because it is essential to the health of you and success of you and your business. Oops, let's just go back one. So this is a review of what we just talked about. What if, and think about how you being able to manage this would have a positive, a better impact, I should say, on the health of you and the health of your business. So what is online reputation management? It is also called ORM. So if I switch those terms around during this session, you'll know what I'm talking about. It refers to building, improving, or restoring your brand's name on the internet. It means taking control of your reputation online by employing various strategies that are both proactive and reactive in the case of damage control, let's say. Examples of strategies include removing or responding to negative comments or publishing positive content to bury the negative stuff that's being said out there. So online reputation management, let's define it. It refers to improving or restoring your brand's name on the net. It means taking control of your reputation online by employing those strategies that I just mentioned, proactive strategies and damage control strategies. It includes tackling your negative content, or should I say negative content that is out there, and publishing positive content to counteract that. ORM is much more than just monitoring your social media, but it's not quite a PR campaign where we try and flood the market with all these good things to negate anything bad that's been said. It also involves simple tools and techniques that any business owner or entrepreneur can actually implement, which is a nice change. So whether you're tackling negative Google search results or removing risky personal information on social media or eliminating troubling images that shouldn't be online, ORM is essential to any brand's image. Take a look at this. Remember that what happens online is there forever. The first place people look for you are on the internet these days. What does that mean? Word of mouth spreads quickly. We know that even before the internet, we knew that it was so swift, but now it's even more dangerous, if you will. Everything online, especially social media, is there for people to check. Many people will check out a company based on what a friend says about them. A friend's opinion carries much more weight than what can be found in Google search results, so that word of mouth is really powerful. There are more and more online platforms for discussions popping up every day, which means that more and more people are sharing information, both good and bad. Negative content online can not only hurt your sales because of its negativity, it could also misrepresent you. If someone has a bad experience with your company because they don't understand your products or policies, this could lead them to post something online that could then mislead others. Through online reputation management, you can set the record straight and set realistic expectations. So what are you going to say? You're going to take a look at these items and make sure you address them. And again, I repeat at the bottom, what happens online is there forever. There are 3 essentials then to looking after your reputation or building a good reputation online. And these are them. For the first one, it's regularly post the right content for your business. You can balance out the content about your company that other people have produced by regularly posting your own official content. Post relevant content in the right places online and maintain the integrity of your message. Create content that is branded and you'll have consistency across all of it. So in the second box, we can see that we need to make sure that we keep private information private. Decide what personal information is okay to put out there, and also what isn't okay. And keep an eye on what's public. Know what's public at all times. Manage your privacy settings on social media sites to carefully control who can see what and when. The third box deals with deal quickly with negative comments. So anything negative comments or publicity, when you experience this, when it's posted about you, deal with it as quickly as you can before too many people get a chance to see it. Deal with it in an appropriate way, keeping in mind that others will see your response. So always respond with your best customer service strategies possible and never reply with more negativity. So here's a couple of action steps that cover what I just discussed a few minutes ago. So you'll have an opportunity to review this afterwards. Think of an instance where you had to counteract negative publicity for your brand online. What did you do and how did it work? And the second action step would be, think of a time when you encountered positive comments about your business online. And why was that? What parts of the experience could you take advantage of in the future for building your reputation? So a couple of things for you to think about there. So let's move on then to the 5 key steps to online reputation management. It's easy to understand the whole process when you break it down into these 5 key steps. Even a small business with very few resources can use these steps. So here they are. We'll go through them briefly one by one so that you get a flavor for that. And the first one is to assess your current reputation. Take the time to research your online reputation and assess it. You'll gain a general understanding of how people see your company and find any negative content that you might need to deal with. So it's worth the while to actually do that step. Step number 2, identify any changes that are needed. Start by simply searching for your own name in Google, like I mentioned earlier, or you can use any of the major search engines if Google is not your preference. So I know you've Googled your own name before, so this is not going to be new. But there are a few ways that you can make the search a little bit more effective. First of all, search anonymously. Your browser has stored certain specific results because you've visited them a few times, so it tailors what you see based on those results, on those preferences. So you don't want those to impact what you're looking at right now. You want to see yourself the way that other web users would see you. So there are 3 simple ways that you can go anonymous. One is to use private mode. On Google Chrome, it's called incognito, and the other browsers each have their equivalent of that. It doesn't save any data, so therefore it's not tailoring anything. It's just giving you the raw data. You can log out of your all of your Google accounts. There's another option, such as Gmail and YouTube and you name it. Because they're all interconnected, they bleed through to the other applications, what your preferences. So you don't want that to impact what you're doing. And the third method is to just wipe the slate clean. Delete your browser history and your search history, if that's what you want to do. Then you'd lose all of your history, so you'd be starting fresh. But that is an option that you can use. Step number 3, determine your best arena. So these would be the venues that you would use to improve your search conditions, if you will. One way that you can do this is to add keywords to your searches. You can do things like add a geographic marker. So your business name, this is in quotes, by the way, your business name, and put your city after it, or your province, or whatever that might be. This may turn up more specific results, and it'll weed out businesses that aren't with a similar name but aren't in your area. You could also get creative with keywords that you add, and here's a few ideas that you could use. You could put in quotes again your name or your business name, and then best. You could in quotes your name or business name worst, your name or business name review, your name or business name unhappy, or your name or business name scam. So that'll bring up anything that's out there for you. So just for an experiment, take a look. Step number 4, create a reputation management strategy. And this means include what types of content that you should post, where, and how you're going to respond to any comments that you might get. So one of the first steps you want to do is to make decisions about your content. Decide on how long your content should be, what it should be about. So getting back to talking to your ideal client, how often should you publish it? Sometimes we get away from our schedules, and this is a good opportunity to refocus on that, and where you're going to publish. By now, if you've been following me at all, or if you are part of my blogging tribe, you know that I'm heavily into where are you going to publish and why are you publishing it there. So this is the same item. The last one is step number 5, and that is start building your reputation from where you are now. So one of the first things you can do is set up alerts. You can set up Google alerts, and there are several different alerts that you can set up and you do this so that you can monitor online. You can monitor ongoing as well, and an alert will notify you whenever content that mentions you or your business is posted anywhere on the internet. This is important because you don't have time to be searching the way that I mentioned every day to see what's being posted about you. So alerts bring this information to you directly. And furthermore, you get notified in real time, which means that you get a jump on a lot of other people being able to see the content, and you can possibly have some impact making it better. So how do you maintain control over your reputation? That's the next item. We want to make sure that we understand where we're going to be looking. The first area to look to control is on your social media. Make sure that you have a profile on the platforms where your targets use. And if you do have a profile on a platform, you need to maintain it. If you have a platform that you pretty much ignore, you maybe want to take a look at that and see what's going on, and just dust it off and make sure it's effective. You can control your social media by surveying your existing customers, making sure you know what they're saying. You can create customer personas or avatars. I'm all over the avatars, as people know. And so again, here's another reason why you need one, or need avatars to help run your business, so that you can make more educated guesses about what is acceptable, what they're looking for, and things like that. Another item you could do is be present on the social media platforms that you use. So that means you need to check in at least once a day, post content, and interact with the people that are communicating with you. We also need to be aware of any privacy settings on each of your platforms. Again, this is key. Just take the time to review the settings and make sure they are the way that that you require them to be for personal and business use. And remember, I can't say this enough, whatever happens online is there forever. Now, as we all know, Facebook is a pretty solid platform. because they have so many people on there. One way to find out what social media sites your market uses is to survey your existing customers. Again, I'm going back there. Another thing to remember is avoid posting negative content, particularly about customers, clients, or business partners. I know it sounds obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people trip up over that one. Make sure you review posts before you post them so that you can recognize the way that they are going to be received. Are they going to be received in the manner in which you wanted to post them? So there's a lot of misunderstandings going on these days, and it's because, we're tripping over the clarity of the message. The other thing you can do is sometimes there's way too much information. Posting personal content can do great things for your brand, absolutely, but make sure you don't cross the line into posting too much personal info. Monitor the way personal posts are received. Again, this comes back to knowing your customer or your avatars. Another thing is look out for high-risk situations. It sounds, a little dramatic, but it is true. Mind what you post. Before the internet was such a great thing that it was so interwoven in our lives, there were conversations about, if I can't say it in an elevator, don't put it in an email or put it out there. And I still think that applies. Mind what you post. Another thing that I trip up over as well, and I will admit to that right now, is sometimes being inconsistent with my presence. So inconsistent presence will also have an impact. So don't disappear on your social media followers. Don't risk missing out on something somebody's saying that you might need to do some damage control for. The next place you want to control would be your website. Some of these are the horse has already left the gate for, but you still need to check them out and be aware. So one of them, if you haven't registered your domain name, your business as your domain name, check it out, see what's going on there. Because quite honestly, you have your business name and somebody else could have registered the domain in the interim. So just take a look and make sure you understand what's going on between your business name and your domain name. By doing some of this, we can also, if we have the business name and the domain name, it actually helps with your Google placement. But sometimes it's too late to even look at that if you haven't taken care of this before. Also for your website, just so that it doesn't get away from you, set up automatic renewal for your domain. Don't be caught unawares when you get up one day and you find out that your site is down because you didn't pay attention to those emails. So set up automatic renewal and make decisions about your website and going forward in good time. Another thing you need to do is to create and use a business email address, please. If you are running a business, you should not be using an @Gmail or @Yahoo, all of those email addresses. For one thing, it's not really professional. For another thing, it has impact to email marketing. And it also says that you're not really paying attention. So again, it could reflect, if you're trying to impart that you are this way bent and you have this situation going on, there's a clash there because they don't speak to each other. The other thing to do is separate your business and your personal emails. I'm hoping that you already do that. So that so in all areas, there is a barrier between your personal life and your public life. I'm not saying that you're keeping people out. I'm just saying that there is an area that needs to be separated. And so you need to take care of that. And the last thing I'm going to suggest to you is this. Do not put your personal email address out there on the web. I don't know why people do it. Again, if you have a business email address, then you're fine. You're good to go. But if you don't, is your personal email out there for people to see? Is it for public consumption? And I want to tell you that you need to change that if it is. Another thing is be aware of outrageous claims that you might be making on your website. In other words, don't overpromise and underdeliver. Set expectations where possible. And while we're looking at the website, how's your contact form? Where is it? Is it easy to find? Is it clear and concise on how people can connect with you? Do you welcome questions and feedback from visitors? And do you check that the form, when completed, filters back into your inbox? Because sometimes that's forgotten. And the last thing on your website is to be ready to post regular content. And again, the easiest way for you to post regular content on a website is to run a blog and post the blog on a regular basis. It kills two birds with one stone. It connects you with your visitors. It also helps with Google. And it says that your site is live. So please take that into consideration. So that's what you can do to control your website. So let's talk a little bit about damage control, because this is ultimately what you are going to have to contend with. Let's minimize the negative online publicity, anything that might be coming by. You might encounter, or should I say, if you encounter negative content, by the way, that could be constructive content or feedback, or it could be somebody actually willing to try and discredit you in some manner. How are you going to handle it? How do you handle that content? And how you actually handle that can have huge consequences for you and your business. So what we need to do then is to create what we call proactive protocols for damage control. So in other words then, have a plan for how to manage negative content. So have a plan before you get your first negative comment so that you're not overly surprised. Create a plan for how to deal with each type. This could be email, this could be a comment on a Facebook post, something like that. How are you going to manage that? Brainstorm the different types of negative content that you might receive. When you're brainstorming, be as specific as possible. So you would come down to, okay, if I'm posting this type of Facebook post and I get negative comments, these are the steps I'm going to do to resolve it. And then create action plans for each type of negative content. Oops, again too quickly, 1 second. So consider these examples. You have a complaint in the comments on a Facebook post. You might want to, as a solution, reply expressing empathy, ask follow-up questions, and offer a solution. Situation B, a blogger writes a negative review of your product, and you could, what I do suggest is leave a comment asking for clarification and explain any misgivings. You're writing to the blog's readers as much as you are to the writer of the blog post. So please keep that in mind. And situation C, a troll leaves a nasty comment directed at you on a website other than your own. Contact the webmaster and see if they are prepared to delete the comment. Don't be afraid to do that. So here we are, almost to the end. This slide is actually from my previous presentation. I apologize. However, you can do a lot with visuals. This brings us almost to the end because we are really tight to the 30 minutes. Our closing quote is this: a brand for a company is like a reputation for a person. You can earn a reputation by trying to do hard things well. And guess who said that? The guy from Amazon.com. So we're on our 30 minutes, and I want to thank you so much for joining us today. Please look out for our next 30-minute masterclass. It'll be coming up in approximately 2 weeks. Again, my name is Barbara Jemmett. I'm the founder of Your Entrepreneurial Spirit, and I thank you for your patience and your understanding, and also for your attention today. It has been my pleasure to join you. Again, I wish you the best of the rest of the day, and I hope to see you on our next masterclass. Bye now.